If you love you some Oklahoma high school football, then you'll be so glad you stuck around for more Explore Tulsa.
High school football has always been huge in Oklahoma. The Jinx Union matchup alone can draw over 10,000 fans.
But there are other schools that have winning traditions too, inspired by great coaches, and at the 3A level, one of those leaders is Coach Jared McCoy.
From a young age, I can remember wanting to draw X's and O's as a freshman in high school and drawing up blocking schemes and pass routes and combinations. And God didn't give me a body that was fit for collegiate football, but my love for it never ended. And I've gotten most of the jobs that I've ever gotten in a school was because I can teach high school physics. So I have a physics mind and a love for football. Every coach wants to adapt what he's doing to best fit his players, and I don't think I'm any different in the way I approach things. But we tweak and we figure out where our strengths are as a team and where individual strengths are and who can fill what role and how roles have to change and adapt from year to year. Whether it's a quarterback that can run a little bit better or throws functionally, or whether it's a quarterback that's not a runner but he can sit back there in a pocket and wing it. We kind of have to figure that out and fitting a receiver in the right spot. It's not perfect. We're moving receivers around up until the last 2 or 3 weeks in the season. We're trying to get kids in the right place. At Metro, I love the opportunities that I have at a school where faith is so important, so stressed. It gives me opportunity to talk about Christ, talk about Jesus every day, and that's important to me. I think that's important to most of our kids, but we're like every school. All of our kids struggle with the same sin issues that everybody else deals with and struggles with, and the temptation to quit, and I think that's still there just like anywhere else, but I certainly think that our faith teaches us to persevere and to push through and to fight. And I think that's what life is, an awful lot like that, and football mirrors it.
First off, he's an amazing coach. Obviously, our record shows of how good we've been since we've been under his leadership. I hurt my knee the first week of playoffs, and during halftime, Coach McCoy came down from the box and gave me a hug, and he was there for me and said, beyond what you do on the field, I love you as a man you're becoming. And him giving me a hug and me kind of thinking of him as a coach, that was a big deal. And I think that was the moment when I thought I have the best coaches in the state.
I attend a church where we looked at some of the research and done some of the statistics, and sports is fundamental for a lot of kids just staying in school, period. A lot of them, it's their driving motivation behind making grades and finishing. And if the life lessons you learn, there's something innate in us that wants to compete and challenge each other, but there's a lot of profit to kids in athletics, and the grade end and the opportunities it provides for furthering education. Those are all great things.
But I didn't really get too close to Coach McCoy until junior, senior year, whenever we actually started talking quite a bit, being able to come in a coach's office and just talk to coaches about your problems, what's going on in your life. Like outside of football, it's a good bond to have with coaches like that.
God's called us to all different things, and but the main thing is to glorify Him in whatever we're doing. And I tell them over and over again, I said, if you can't glorify God in football, then we're messing up. I'm messing up with what I'm doing, and they're messing up with what they're doing, and that they can play football different. And I think if I can get that across to them, I think that if they can see that there's a way for them to play football different, then they can do what the Bible says, and they can eat to the glory of God, and they can drink to the glory of God, and they can go be an accountant to the glory of God, and they can go be a husband to the glory of God. And I want them to get that, because I believe that if they're going to find fullness in this life with athletics and everything else, then that's fundamental and key. And everybody wants fullness. Everybody wants that joy and peace that's out there.